Warriors, what's going on? I hope everybody had a good weekend. Just wanted to say something really quickly that I've been thinking about. Under this Gemini new moon, I was looking at some things, seeing that it was quite a few planets that were lined up directly. And then my dream space has been super interesting. Too heavy to get into on YouTube, like for sure. Like it's not even possible. But I will kind of give a brief summary on a high level. So, like we said before, Gemini has strong play in mental health, but then at the same time, Pluto is in retrograde, and Pluto deals with death and rebirth and your psyche, and it's in retrograde in Aquarius, which is also another air sign, and air signs generally deal with the mind. So there's nothing to be afraid of, but allowing you to take a pause and clean up some things in your subconscious, some fears within your subconscious, some traumas within your subconscious. And for me in particular, these things tend to play out in my dreams sometimes. Not always, but when it does, I'm very aware of what's happening in my dream space. I'm very conscious in my dream space. Even when I'm in my subconscious, I can recall and bring it back here when I wake up. So, as I was meditating on some dreams that I had, or visions more or less, visions that I had, I was doing some traveling, and took me back to certain places where certain things had happened that were very dark. We're talking about spiritual warfare now. Now here's the thing about ascension. It's not a straight line like this, it's more like this, okay? It's a spiral up. And it reminds me of a song that I used to hear my elders sing about, we are climbing Jacob's ladder. I'm a soldier of the cross. Every round goes higher and higher. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like, even in like a Mercury retrograde, where we have a chance to revisit some things within our life. It's like, say you went through something here, right? And then you go through that cycle and then you come back around, but you're a little higher. You can see, now you have the opportunity to ascend higher or drop lower or stay in that same cycle, depending on what actions you take at that very moment while you're getting the opportunity in that now. Some cycles you're going to repeat because there's a lot of lessons to learn. There's a lot of lessons to learn, just depending on what it is. And like I said, this is a very high level summary of something that is very intricate. So, and me in particular, like I said, I had certain seasons where I was dealing with spiritual warfare on certain levels. And I've become very, very strong through the help of the Creator to be able to really see things for what they are. And as I ascend in this season here, I had a chance to revisit some things and travel, astro travel, where I understood so much more about what was going on and why I understood the dark so much. Now here's the thing. The light is connected to the dark. If you are afraid of the dark, or you haven't kind of gotten to that space where you understand that the dark is a part of this whole thing, no problem, but it is. And certain adept or certain people, or we deal with it in different ways from our own perspective. Like I said, can't really go into too much about that on YouTube. You're not ready. That's not really collective type talk. That's for generals who doing battle on the field. And on top of that, I don't want to say too much because I know certain people are watching just to see what I'm going to say, because they are the ones sending the chaos my way, but it's not working. And Spirit told me something in regard to that as well too. All I can say is, man, yo, protected by vipers, stand back. Like, it's not gonna be pretty. It is not gonna be pretty for those that choose to do mischief. Okay, I wanted to say something, but I can't. So, talking about dealing with dark situations, because we're talking about mental health, and I know many of you have been through some really dark stuff, man, and you know you've gotten past it, but when it kind of circles back around and then you're dealing with it from your subconscious and the emotions that it triggers, where it wants to pull you back into that space, but you know what it is and you're looking for your way through it, trust me, there's an order to the darkness as well too. Depending on how you grew up and what you learned, you might not know that, but if you look into like the Vedic, or you look into the Bhagavad Gita, this is all like out of India. Bhagavad Gita, it's a hard word to pronounce. They have a very detailed, profound way of explaining the dark. And I appreciated, what I read and what I learned and what I continue to learn about these spaces, because I operate there easily. And a lot of times, like I said, I want to understand what it is that I'm dealing with. I'm an intellect. What is this experience that I'm having? So, this is what I will say. When you are in a dark space, you still have to operate out of love. It's very important to operate out of love for yourself. Without it, you will get lost in the dark. You will get trapped in the dark. You have to be able to operate out of love. Love of self. That is your light. Okay? You don't have to fear it, but you definitely have to respect it. Because now you're dealing with a space that's far beyond normal conscious comprehension. So you're going to need the assistance of the Creator, your angels, your spirit guides, the Holy Ghost, however you relate to that space, to be able to navigate your way through these dark waters, these dark emotion, this subconscious space. And you can do it. And you will be stronger for it. But it's also going to require that you trust yourself like you've never trusted yourself before. These are tests for very special people. And like I said, because we're dealing with mental health, and I've watched people go through some really dark things with their mental health, whether it was friends, family, or as a counselor, or even myself, where I was pushed to the brink of where I felt like I may break in my own mind. More than once. I've been to hell more than once. I've been to the dark side more than once, but I always was able, thank God, to always connect with the love that the Creator has for me, the love of my higher self, the love from my heart, because that's really what it was about. Saying how calloused can it make me to rob me of the essence of my soul, to put my mind in purgatory. And I've seen what happens to people who are in some really dark places. It is very difficult. So I'm not minimizing any of this. I'm only sharing this to give light, to give an explanation, to give some direction to some resources that will help certain people who are dealing with things in this capacity to move forward in that ascension, to continue to spiral upward. And I think the most important thing, like I said, whatever tools you decide to use, the Bible, anything else, but you got to really understand how to read the Bible, though. You really do. Dodge the hijack. But those are only tools. But to really trust yourself and understand how to love yourself, understand how to separate these thoughts that have been projected onto you versus your true divine essence, your right, universal, by universal law, to have peace and joy in your life, regardless of the exterior in the environment or those spaces where you've been hijacked in your mind. I know this is definitely not going to be for everybody, but for whoever it is for, they'll get it. And like I said, sending tons and tons of positive energy your way. This is still Men's Mental Health Month. Don't let anybody rattle you, bruh. Don't let anybody get up under your skin. Don't let anybody remove you from your character. They're going to try, and if you do, okay, cool. Just regain your balance. That's all. Just don't stay there. Don't stay in that vibration. Don't stay in that thought that'll create that habit, that'll create those behaviors that will become a part of your character, that will make you numb and callous and rob you of all that incredible power from your own heart, what you need to create the life you see fit for yourself. Head-heart connection. I'm gonna leave it there. Love y'all. Peace.